What's up guys, I'm back, and guess what? I still hate regular biomes. See this roofed forest here? Let's burn it to the ground! We have no time for those boring regular biomes because we're out here building our own biomes. And you know what? It's about time we show animals a little love. People use these animals as insult, calling people chicken or a cow. Well, it's time to wake up, sheep, as we need to respect our animal brethren. So I'm showing my respect today by making them a custom biome each. Once again, I've come prepared and made myself a little map. Let's start on the left with the Countback. So we start off with the most boring part of the process, which is building all the rivers that I've drawn in there, which can take quite a while, even with the help of World Edit. World Edit's really good for doing straight lines, not for making naturally curved rivers like this. Like I did with the YouTube biomes, I used some mods in this, so we had some more interesting blocks to place around, as I feel like just vanilla limits you quite a lot, and with the amount of mods that are out there, you may as well take advantage of some of them. But now we get to the first part of the Countback, as I like to call it, which is of course the mushroom forest. I actually made a pretty cool way of making mushrooms by spawning in some trees and then changing them in World Edit to the certain blocks that I was using for mushrooms, which is just a bit of quartz and red concrete. The mushroom forest is here, of course, because of the mushroom cows. This is the section of the biome they will live in. I know people might be thinking, Joel, there's already a mushroom cow biome, but this is just a cow biome in general, and we don't want to leave out our mushroom brothers. We want to include all the cows in this biome. The forest has loads of different sizes of mushrooms, and one massive mushroom, as you can see here as well, which could be a dungeon or something like that. We then move on, of course, to the wheat hill, which is, as it says in the name, a hill completely made of wheat. Obviously, cows, they need to eat, and they love wheat. Hey, that rhymed. So rather than scattering loads of little bits of wheat all over the place, I thought, you know what, let's put it in one big corner of the map of this biome, and that is this big wheat hill, which, as you'll see later, I found a way with World Edit to make a satisfying way of planting the wheat, so I didn't have to plant each seed individually, as that would have probably taken me about like 10 hours or so. It's a bit of an exaggeration, probably only take an hour, but as you can see here, I could plant wheat super quickly, which was so much better and easier for me to do. We then move on to Udder Lake, which is of course filled with milk. Milk is not something that cows drink, but they do produce it and need somewhere to store it. So of course, we've got the Udder Lake. I added a mod in which makes milk able to flow like water, which is what I used here for the Udder Lake. I did one entire layer and then copied it and pasted it like so. And then I finished off the path and added a few trees in to make it look like a bit more natural part of a biome. Of course, bone milling the grass, which is my favorite pastime. Welcome to the Countback, as I like to call it. On our left here, we've got Wheat Hill, which, as you can see, is full of wheat and, of course, cows, which is stomping on the wheat and destroying the wheat, so be careful, cows, okay? We also have the mushroom forest over here for the mushroom cows to hang around with. This is their natural habitat. They hang in between the mushrooms and having a great time. We got a bigger mushroom up here looking very fancy and lovely. And moving on over here to Udder Lake, which is a lake in the shape of an udder made completely from milk. We have this lovely path going all the way through the biome as well, with this sort of tree coverage as an outline as you walk through, and you see every single site, whether it be the mushroom forest or the Udder Lake, where there's a nice little opening where you can come, get a sip, then continue on to the next biome, which is of course the Sheepy Meadows. When you think of sheep, you think of all the different colours sheep come in Minecraft. So of course I had to make a huge rainbow made out of the wool of the sheep, which I know is kind of a weird thing. They're making a rainbow out of their own fur in their own biome. Maybe they didn't make it then, maybe someone else made it. I made it, in fact. What am I talking about? But in all honesty, what do sheep really have going for them? They are good for wool. No one really ever kills them for mutton because you don't really need it when you can just kill a cow and you want to keep the sheep for their wool. So the main focus was the wool and the rainbow wool. And you'll notice right now that this rainbow looks a bit weird on the right, and that's because I messed up. It's really hard to make a rainbow look good, I realise. I gave it my best shot, but it just didn't turn out as smooth as these smaller rainbows here. I also did a little bit of terraforming as well to make the land look more natural rather than just having a flat surface, and the effect is actually pretty good. I'm quite happy with it. I added a few little ponds in as well to make it look all pretty, and some trees to add to the effect. I then wanted to link the two biomes, so I added this little bridge across, which is just a basic bridge, but it does the job, and that's all that you need to do is link the two biomes. You can see me in the background spawning in a load of Jeb sheep as well, which is why there's loads of flashing sheep around, as well as building this massive long path going through the entire biome and adding a link point up to the next biome as well. The rest of the biome is quite flat in comparison to that section. Looking back, I probably should have made it a bit more bumpy, but we're starting on the flower rainbow land, which is basically just some rainbow flowers, big and small, placed all over the land. It actually looks really funny when I start adding in all the little flowers. You can see my character just zooming around, spam clicking the ground. It took quite a long time to add all these flowers in, as there's so many, because I was using the Biomes of Plenty mod, and I just wanted to get as much variety as possible. I wanted a big centerpiece in this biome, and of course I went for a pink sheep castle. If any of you guys watched Crazy Crash back in the day, you'll know that Ollie had his pink sheepy weird obsession thing. Not entirely sure what it is still to this day. So I wanted to build a castle in ode to him and that crazy weird story. So I made this massive pink castle, which I think looks pretty cool. It's a lot different to the normal castles I build. Of course, using some world edit to speed things up. If I was to build this by hand, it'd probably taken me double the amount of time, but thanks to world edit, look at that. Copy and paste it all around and then just duplicate it like so. Perfect. There are, of course, some pink sheep wandering around outside, but most of the pink sheep stay within the castle because that's where they belong. Hey, look, what's that Jeb sheep doing? Not entirely sure, but it's having a bit of a wander. I did a nice little wall around this castle with some little turrets as well, using world edit to cheat and copy and paste them, of course. Then filled it up with some pink flowers and some pink trees to finish the effect. Let's go have a look around it, shall we? Welcome to the Sheepy Meadows. As you can see as we pan up, it looks pretty cool with the castle ominously in the background. The first section is the rainbow wool section, with this huge big rainbow, which is kind of uneven. Very hard to make a very circular rainbow. That's why it kind of like, ooh, I'm a happy circle. Oh my gosh, what's happened here? But there's loads of other little rainbows around, plus of course, the Jeb sheep, which are changing colours. We then move on to the rainbow flower section with all the sheep of different colours wandering around, and all these flowers, which are of course rainbow colours, and you take the path all the way up to the pink sheep castle. Inside, of course, is nothing but pink sheep. These guys don't need furniture. All they need is to wander around because they're sheep. They don't need furniture, okay? They don't need a crafting table. They've got no hands. Moving on to the chicken chasm. So I wanted to do something different in comparison to the other two biomes, kind of like I did for the YouTube biomes, where I made this one a deserty sort of biome, except it's quite rocky, and instead of digging upwards, I actually dug into the biome and made a cool massive chasm, as the chicken chasm is called after it, as you can see here. It's kind of like a ravine except in a desert, and there's nothing scary at the bottom of it. Of course, I did add a load of mountains section in as well, and I also just left space for the little bits as you saw on the map earlier. I am so grateful for World Edit, as without it this would all not be possible, or would have taken me literally days. The path from the other biome heads in from another bridge down through the chasm, and then it leads you to every single section of the biome. I used some chisel bricks for the path to also change it up a little bit, as we'd use the same sort of mossy cobblestone throughout the other two biomes, and the grey and the yellow just sort of didn't go very well together. Of course, because we have chickens, that means we are also going to have eggs. What came first though? I guess we'll never know. Actually, someone scientifically proven that it's the egg, probably. Anyway, this here is a nest for an egg to sit in, which I put a little chick in as well, as if it had just been hatched. I know it is a giant chick, that has hatched, but that's okay, maybe the other chickens worship it. We also have another ode to eggs, which is of course Egg Valley here, which is basically a valley full of eggs. I did a few different sizes, then copied and pasted them around as I felt like making each egg individually was just not worth it. There's only so many different sizes of egg you can get. But what I had in mind for this was, you know, those weird valleys of rocks which have got strange formations? I had that, but it was eggs instead. Now we move on to the baby zombie chicken racetrack. We all know baby zombies love to ride those chickens, so I made a little racetrack for them to race around in. We used two different types of grass because the biomes are plenty. I think one of them was like a loamy grass and one was a normal grass to make this cool and effective racetrack. And then we had to add a stand in as well so all the other chickens could come and spectate their chicken brethren being led around. Kind of weird. It's kind of like horses coming to watch other horses race. That just doesn't happen in real life, does it? Maybe humans will come and watch. I have no idea. But we made this cute little stand for them to sit in and then added a few more rocks and landscaping stuff around, and the biome is complete. Let's go have a look around, shall we? So we got this cute little bridge here taking us over to the chasm where we head down. If this was a real biome, obviously there'd be like maybe some caves and stuff off here, some ores, stuff for you to mine. But when you head out up the other side, which you don't need to jump, it's all steps and stuff, which is lovely. You get to the cute nest, surrounded by the Soundy Mountains, then through Egg Valley, where you don't know, mob spawners might be in here with some evil chickens or something, I don't know. Let your imagination run free. But you head through the valley all the way to the stadium. If you head up the stairs here, you can take a nice seat and enjoy the races. So there you have it, our 3 biomes for today. A colourful one with an udder-shaped lake, and one which is just lots of terrain, plus racing. That's going to be it for today's video, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like. And if you've got any suggestions for videos in the future, make sure to leave them in them comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I shall see you another time. Goodbye.